Welcome friends. Thanks for watching my channel and liking my videos. Today is a walk and talk video. We're going to talk about Independence Day and drainage ponds. I hope you enjoy the content. Take care. Welcome friends. Thanks for watching my video and subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate it. Today I'm going to take a brief walk and talk about drainage ponds and I wish everybody a happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July here in America. I do appreciate it. If you don't recognize this area, I am walking down Belvedere Boulevard here in the Villages, Florida. There's a bird over there on the lawn. I forgot what the name of that bird is, but they're all over here in the Villages. That is facing east. That is south. And I'm walking west. Thanks for joining, everybody. These are designer homes here in the Villages. Their backyard has a drainage pond view or lake view. You can see the ducks in the pond. I don't know if I can zoom in on the ducks. Can I zoom in on the ducks? I can zoom in on the ducks. These drainage ponds are pretty full. Just a couple of months ago, this drainage pond was nearly empty. We did have quite a bit of rain in the last couple of weeks. And I think on a previous video I was describing the weather patterns here in Florida. They seem to be cyclical. And the weather pattern we're in now is sunny in the morning, cloudy in the early afternoon, and rain around 6 p.m., 6 to 8 to 9 p.m. rain, and then it clears up. So as I mentioned before, I think that's a sandhill crane over there. Sandhill crane in the water. Just taking off. The crane is taking off. Hope you could see that. That's a sandhill crane. They're all over here in the Villages, Florida. These drainage ponds are connected through a series of underground pipes. There's hundreds, if not thousands of these drainage ponds here in the Villages, Florida. They attract the water, and some of the water from the storm sewer systems on the street, the water in the storm sewers will drain into these ponds. And the water in these ponds is reclaimed and is pumped through the Villages and is actually used to water the lawns, the residential lawns, the common areas. This is a common area lawn. Those lawns are all watered using the reclaimed water from the rain here in the Villages, Florida. Across the way, those are Courtyard Villas, who has a pond view as well. Those are designer homes with pond view. You will pay a premium for your home if it is on a pond or if it's overlooking a body of water. or if it's overlooking a forest or a woods. I know in the southern part of the villages, they do have homes that have a view of the nature preserve, and you will pay a premium for those. The villages sells these homes. You can actually buy, in the newer part of the villages in the south, you can actually buy a lot, and you can work with the developer to design a home and have the home built from the ground up. I know most of you might think that you have to buy the home after it's built, but you can actually work with the villages, buy the lot, and then design the home and build the home with the villages. You cannot go to an outside contractor, an independent contractor, and build a home. If you want a home in the villages, you have to work with a developer. The developer is the only one that can build the home for you here in the villages. So this is just one of many drainage ponds here in the villages. I wanted to show you what the drainage ponds look like. And you can assume that any body of water, including these drainage ponds, can contain alligators. I have seen alligators in these drainage ponds before. In fact, I have a very interesting story to tell you. I met a nice gentleman a few months ago. He was actually fly fishing in this drainage pond. He was standing right over there by those palm trees, and he was fly fishing. You can fish in these drainage ponds. There are fish in here, but you do have to catch and release the fish. You cannot keep the fish. You cannot take them home and eat them. You can catch and release. So this fine gentleman who was fishing over here a few months ago, I was talking to, he was telling me a story. He was standing on the shoreline. He was fly fishing. It was not this drainage pond. He was fly fishing on a different drainage pond here in the villages. And the interesting story he told me was, a few months ago, he was fishing. He was standing close to the shoreline. He caught a fish. He was reeling the fish in to shore. He had the fish on the hook. He lifted the fish out of the water. It was still on his line. And as he was pulling the fish out of the water, an alligator came up and took the fish from his hook and line. Obviously, he was surprised and scared. He dropped his fishing pole and he ran up the embankment here away from the alligator. And the alligator got a fish that day. He got his fish. So the only creatures that can eat the fish out of these ponds are alligators and birds, not humans. Last year, I was mentioning in a different video that we had a drought year. We had very little rain here in the villages last year. This drainage pond was very, very low. I mean, it was half of this size. And the villages has the ability to pump water from one drainage pond and pump it into another drainage pond. They can move this water from one side, one drainage pond to the next. Another interesting fact about the villages is they maintain and manage the water levels in these drainage ponds. They monitor the weather and the forecast, And when there are hurricanes predicted to be here near in the villages area, they will actually drain the water out of these drainage ponds. They will make this water disappear. They want to reduce the levels of these drainage ponds when hurricanes are coming to the villages, because they don't want these drainage ponds to overflow. So you might ask, how do they drain or get rid of the water out of these drainage ponds? There's a couple of methods they use. One method, which I saw last year during one of the hurricanes, is they turn on their water sprinkling systems all around the villages in the common areas. So all this green grass in the common areas of the villages, they have water sprinkling systems. They turn them on and they essentially start watering the lawns, all the common lawns, and they drain the water out of these drainage ponds. The other way they can manage the water levels in these ponds is by pumping water from one pond to the next. And as I mentioned before, the rain and the weather here in Florida is very localized, and it's often common that one part of the villages will receive extensive rain while the other part of the villages won't receive any rain at all. So in some parts of the villages, these drainage ponds might be lower than in other parts of the villages. So they will pump water from these drainage ponds that are high to drainage ponds that have low water. So that's another way they control the water levels. But it is very interesting. They do have a very sophisticated stormwater management system here in Florida, which is awesome. When I was buying home insurance a couple of years ago, I was talking to my insurance agent, and he was telling me that you should have no trouble buying home insurance here in the villages, because it's one of the very few areas in Florida that's not considered to be in a floodplain. And the reason is because they have an excellent stormwater management system here. So even in the worst hurricane in 2017, there was a really bad hurricane. I forgot the name of it. Is it Irma or Ivan or something? But the last major hurricane to hit the villages dramatically was in 2017. And the interesting fact was none of these homes were flooded here in the villages. And part of the stormwater management system is the use of the golf courses and how they design golf courses here in the villages. And I will do a video about golf courses a little bit later. But how they design golf courses here in the villages is the golf courses are actually dug, and they are lower in the earth than most of these homes. So when hurricanes come and extensive rains come, any overage of water will drain, and the golf courses are essentially used as a secondary drainage pond, and the golf courses will be flooded before the homes get flooded. And in 2017, you can go on YouTube, there's a bunch of YouTubers that had videos of the hurricane in 2017. You will see videos of most of the golf courses in the villages being underwater. And that is by design. That is to prevent your homes from getting flooded. That's why it's such a good choice to live here in the villages. It's going to be very rare that your home will get flooded, because they have a primary system of drainage ponds, and if the drainage ponds overflow, the overflowed water will go into the golf courses, because the golf courses' elevation are lower than your homes. And they also have the ability to pump water out of these drainage ponds and move it to other parts of the villages. Thanks for watching and subscribing. That's about all I have to say about these drainage ponds today. Take care and happy 4th of July, everybody. Thank you everyone for watching my video and subscribing to my channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video about drainage ponds and Independence Day. Take care everybody. Have a safe 4th of July weekend. Take care.